Hi everybody, and welcome back on this beautiful Thursday morning down on the beach as usual. And I thought I'd speak about this because yesterday afternoon, before I had to go and meet my wife downtown, I bumped into one of my next door neighbours. Okay, and she grabbed me. I didn't even recognise her because she looked like she was in such a bad way at the time. And she told me her husband had just died. I thought, oh Christ, why come and tell me? Probably the worst person on the planet for giving sympathy and everything. Okay, and I thought, what do I say? What can you say to somebody when their life partner has just sadly died in a hospice? And I didn't even know he was in a hospice, to be honest. He wouldn't have been in very long because it was only a few days beforehand that I actually last saw him. And then she asked me this question. Okay. And this is a question which is really difficult. Well, it's not difficult for me to answer. It's difficult for me to face up because of all the problems I've been having recently. Okay, it's one of those things I've never really wanted to face up to, in a way. And this was the question. And she said, if you look back on your past, what is the one thing you're most proud of and one thing you're most ashamed of? Now, I'm not going to try and pretend I've been a great father, I've been a great husband, or any of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to try and pretend because I haven't. Okay, that's for other people to make that judgment on me. Okay, so I'm not going to make this pretend accusation that I have. So, when it comes to what I'm most proud of, okay, that's it. That's always going to be easy, and it's two things. Okay, the proudest things were the day that my first child was born. Okay, and people can say what they like. Okay, and I know plenty of people that will make a comment on that. And the other thing was the day I managed to decide to turn my life around. And when I say that, after my previous marriage had separated, even before that, probably after my first child was born, started spiraling out of control. My life just fell apart. I lost everything, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And I just spiraled out of control through my marriage. Well, I never cheated on my wife, okay, but I treated her pretty damn badly. Turned to drink, turned to women, turned to certain other things that I won't talk about, but I'm sure you can guess what they were. And my life went out of control. And then I met what is now my wife, and she had 13, maybe 14-year-old daughter. And meeting that child, even though she hated me at the time, she truly hated me. Okay, trust me, with a vengeance, she hated me because she saw me as potentially as a threat to her. Okay. I realised at that moment I needed to change my life. I couldn't carry on going in the same way I was going at the time because I'd probably end up in a pine box. I'd probably be dead by now, to be honest. I would have probably either upset the wrong people, okay, or I would have ended up dead in other ways because of what I was doing. So for me, those are the two things that I would say that I'm most proud of. Be the day that I became a father, and the day that I managed to turn my life around because of another child. Now, hopefully that child isn't listening, because I can be guaranteed I'm going to get a text message about it, because she won't phone me up. She wouldn't dare phone me up, even though I'm still with her mother to this day. She's not talking to me at the moment. So I'll probably get her a text message, or should I say a Facebook message. Now, the worst thing, now this is something that I've been having to face up to, mainly because I had a breakdown about a week ago. And a lot of it boils down to what I did many years ago. And I've never actually committed a crime. Never committed a crime. Never been arrested. Never attacked somebody or assaulted somebody. I've never done anything like that. I've been questioned under caution and then gotten a formal apology from Southampton police station because they bankrupted my company because of an investigation they did into me. Okay, but I got a formal letter of apology. But I did something 16 years ago which is truly, truly awful from my point of view. And this is what I did. And I've never, ever, ever been able to forgive myself for it, because I cost myself so much from doing it. And this is what it was. I was dating a girl at the time, and she was pregnant. And we were getting on fine and everything. Yeah, her parents didn't entirely like me. They still don't really like me, to be honest, to this day. And the night before, all I remember is the night before, got this text message from my sister's next door neighbour. Got in the bath, and my phone pings. And my phone goes off, and I said to my girlfriend at the time, because my phone, I've never had a problem with people looking through my phone, never got anything to hide. Got this text message. I said, go and have a look, see what it is. And I got this text message, and it was from my sister's next door neighbour. And it said, Kevin, how do you fancy coming round for a threesome with me and I won't mention the other girl's name? And you can imagine what the response was. She wasn't best happy, and I'm sure most people wouldn't be happy if their partner got one. And I explained to her they were on drugs, they'd been drinking, and they'd been smoking marijuana all day, okay, and they were off their heads. And then I was due to go home the next day because I was still recovering from an epileptic seizure. I was in recovery still because I'd had a really bad seizure. So went back to my mum's the following day. I remember my girlfriend at the time sent me this. She'd been sending me messages, and she sent me this one particular message where it said, I will always love you no matter what. And me being a stupid, naive moron at the age, and I would have been what? I think I would have been 30 at the time. Okay, so I've got no excuse for this. I sent her a text message back saying, what even if I cheated on you? Now, I hadn't cheated on her. I'd never cheated on her at any time. But she was, 5-6 months pregnant. And it was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Of all the stupid things I could possibly send, I go and send a message like that to somebody. And it cost me everything. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my daughter. I lost absolutely everything. So when I talk about the biggest mistake of my life, that is the very biggest mistake, because that was the turning point for my entire life. Because at that moment of pressing send, I lost everything, and I cost myself everything, and I've got nobody to blame but myself. Okay, and that's taken me 16 years to come to terms with. 16 years to face up to it, you know, and I've ended up being put into counselling twice, been diagnosed with anxiety, been diagnosed with depression, been medicated for it, had 3 breakdowns over it. Okay, now my ex, even though we've started speaking to recently, okay, and she has asked me about that type of stuff, and I point blank denied it. Point blank, I'm not going to bloody admit, but I've gone through mental health issues to a last person on the planet I'd admit to it about. But if I was to look at the biggest mistake, that would be the biggest mistake that I've ever made. So what I'm going to ask, because I'm not going to rabbit on for much longer, is let us know if you can top any of those. If you've done anything even more stupid. And by saying, oh, I cheated on my wife, no, you're not going to top it. I'm sorry, you're not. Okay, so if you've done anything even more stupid or something you can be even more proud of, let us know in the comments. Obviously, if you are new to the channel, if you could please subscribe as well, I would appreciate it. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.